All right, guys, we're in the Bobcat and got 2, maybe 3 cameras going. So real quick, oh yeah, please like and subscribe. You know, it takes a little bit of time to put videos out there. I'm trying to get my knowledge out there, try to share with the people, things like that. So liking and subscribing and getting traffic to my channel helps me spread the word about my Bobcat 6-way Dozer Blade. So real quick, let's see if we can do the controls here. So you have your loader controls, right stick, pull back on the right stick. Gotta push my operate button. Pull back on the right stick, loader comes up, blade comes up. Push forward on the right stick, blade goes down, loader goes down. So then you have your tilt feature. This is a 6-way Dozer Blade. It's a 90-inch. This is a 2020 model. So if I push down on the cylinder button towards me, the blade will, that side, oh, gotta push the auxiliary. That side will go down. If I push up on the cylinder, the left side will go down. So this is down is right. Other ways down is left is down. Now I do notice that it does tilt more to the right than it does to the left. I'm not sure if that's how it's made, but it does have like a swivel pin up there. I'm not sure if that maybe is adjustable or not. Then on your left stick, you have your toggle switch, and left is left, right is right. So I've been messing with it for about 5 days after work, after school. And so I have maybe, I don't know, 4 hours operating it. I was messing with it earlier today. Actually did a video. You might see part of it, you might not see part of it. One of the cameras died. The GPS controller wasn't working right for one of them. Might not be working right for one of them now, but I have 2 cameras. One's on the Dozer Blade, one's over my shoulder. And I have one set up over on the cooler. And so what I found out yesterday was I came down and I made a swath that right about here, which I've been working this morning so you can't quite see it, but I had a swath. And then I used my laser, I don't know if you can see it, my laser level, my Bosch laser level. Some people even call it laser transit, but it's not really. I mean, it works that way too. But the problem that I have with that is that it's too sensitive for what I want to do. It could be very precise and very sensitive for the right job, I guess. I think it's plus or minus. One setting is plus or minus 1/8 of an inch, and the other setting is plus or minus 1/16 of an inch or something like that. So for this, trying to get the grade, you know, I want the water to come away from the sugar house from my left to my right, and I want to go away from the sugar house from behind me to in front of me. And so I want it to drop. I want to have some drop to it. And so yesterday when I messed around with the laser, I'm like, it looked like it was like I wanted it. I'm like, all right, this looks pretty good. So I'm gonna get the laser level out and I'm gonna check it. So I get it out to check it, and I couldn't get the remote reader on the stick. You know, it's too accurate. There's two, you know, you pick the stick up a 1/4 inch and it doesn't read you, and you can't lower it a 1/4 inch than what you are because you're touching the ground. So actually what I found out was just about dusk, I actually could see the laser on the stick, and that was great. And I was able to walk down through, and it looked like I had a pretty level swath. I'm like, that looks really good. That looks good. I'm happy with that. It looks good. And I actually had about maybe 8 inches of drop and 75 feet, which is more drop than I need, but I wouldn't say it's more drop than I want. You know, it's like, it's more than necessary, but it's not necessarily a bad thing to have more drop. Obviously, if it drops 8 inches or so in 75 feet or so, then obviously the water's running away from the sugar house, which is the goal. And if I get it too low, let me talk about this for a second. So if I get it too low it's not a problem. Like, I'm not gonna come in here with gravel. We're gonna bring gravel in. We're not gonna come in here and level it with the gravel. We're gonna come in here and put a coating of gravel to help with the mud. We're hoping that the base underneath the gravel is gonna help take care of the water because it's gonna have some slope to it. Now I have a low spot. You can see where I have a low spot right, 10, 15 feet in front of me, that gets higher again. I'm gonna try to get that out, but that is far enough away from the sugar house, left to right, and past the sugar house lengthwise, it's not a problem. If I have a low spot there, I have a low spot there. Now that one there, if it stays there, it might actually get more gravel put into it just to make it look better. But we're not leveling the gravel. We're just gonna try to put the same amount of gravel all the way across, like, I don't know, 3-4 inches, and we're gonna try to pack it just as good as we can. Hopefully we're gonna get what we call modified, so it should pack. We're not just gonna do washed stone. If we do washed stone and it doesn't pack, you come down here to plow the snow, because it's gonna snow before syrup season is over. You're gonna plow all that stone right away because it's not gonna pack. It just sits on it. Washed stone does not pack. Whereas modified has some, I don't want to dig in anymore right there, so I'm picking it up just a little bit. Modified has, different size material in it, and it will pack. And it actually will pack very, very, very hard over time. It's what we have at the cabins for the driveway, and the cabins are going on, well, this is winter 3. And we haven't had to add any more gravel to the cabin's driveway. There might be 1 or 2 spots where could probably use a little bit, but we haven't had to add like loads of gravel. Let me turn my throttle up just a little bit. So the laser level, it's a Bosch GLR 800. It's very, it's capable of being very precise. For this application, it is too precise. It's not the right tool for the job. Just as, I would like it to be like, tell me if I'm 3 inches high or 3 inches low, and that's all I need to know. I don't need to know, hey, I'm right on. I'm not pouring concrete. I'm not leveling, I'm not pouring concrete. I'm not leveling footers. I'm not leveling a pad for a basement or, anything like that. Now those guys, they, and again, if you're doing that stuff, you don't care to have it. I don't know if you care to have it that precise either. You're going to use a little bit more, so your pad's going to be you're going to make it so you just want to make it so your pad, if you're pouring concrete, I've done a lot of it over the years with different contractors. You want to make it so you don't have thin concrete. You don't want to necessarily be, it's going to be an inch thicker over there. You're not going to worry about that. You're going to worry about if it's an inch thinner. You're going to do your forms out of 2x4s or 2x6s or 2x8s or whatever, and you're going to try to get it level, but you're not going to be like, you're not say, I want to save gravel, I'm going to fill that low spot in. If it's low by an inch, you're not even going to worry about it. So over here where I am, I know probably the camera isn't showing me, but right over by the ditch, I do not want to take the skid steer into the ditch. I do not want to, like I did it before. That's how I got the swale like it is. My brother-in-law dug with the excavator, and he dug just enough that I put my one track of the skid steer in the ditch that he dug, and then I got the skid steer to tip, and I just put that swale right in there. But I got a lot of mud in the tracks, and if I was going to say there's one thing I don't like about a CTL, compact track loader, I would say it is cleaning mud out of the tracks. The other thing I don't like about this particular skid steer is that the backup camera, which I call the rear view camera because it's on all the time, it's vibrating a little bit more than I would like it to. Other than that, I'm pretty happy with the machine. This Dozer Blade can push dirt. It is a beast. The skid steer you know, 92 horsepower, it's a beast. I don't even have it half throttle, and I'm doing good. So one thing I do want to get, which I don't know if it'll help, but I think it'll help me anyway, is I'd like to get I'd like to get the biggest, longest one I could find, magnetic level, and slap it right on front of the blade, right in front of that camera. So at least I know whether the blade is level or not. So if I was doing work, so like right now, the skid steer is tipping, and so well, if I want the ground to be level, I have to figure out how to level the blade. That's not necessarily easy to do. So I'm getting the feel for it. So what I've found out is that, see, I'm digging in a little bit more right there than I want to, but I'm past the sugar house. So I'm just trying to get this to even out a little bit. I've got a little bit to fill in right here if I want to. So I'm starting, you know, I've got about 4 hours on the blade total. I'm starting to get the feel for it. You just kind of, and that's why I'm going slow. You have to be patient with it and realize, like right there, the skid steer's doing different things because the ground I'm going over is tipping the skid steer one way or the other, and you have to be like, okay, front's going down, pick the blade up, back's going down, lower the blade. I'm starting to get the feel for it. I like it. I mean, you know, I wouldn't imagine I could jump on a Dozer in 4 hours and master it, right? But what I do know is that if you go fast and you run high throttle, herky-jerky, it's gonna make it hard to get a feel for when to pick the blade up, when to lower the blade down. Now out here, you know, the hard part out here, which I'm behind the camera so you can't see me, you know, I just don't want it to drop off too much. Like, let's see right there, I dug in more than I wanted to, definitely. But that's because it's got a little bit of mud. It's all clay. So if you dig in too far out here where I'm behind the camera, you know, the hard part is, you know, I want it to level, I don't really want it to, out here I guess I would rather have it be more level, like kind of level off. Once you get past the sugar house, you know, I'm probably past the sugar house 20 feet, it can level off. That's not a big deal. The water's gonna, you know, keep on going. It's not gonna be a huge deal. So that's kind of like, you know, but I had a high spot right here by the corner of this sugar house, which again, I don't know if I'm in view of the camera or not, but there's a lot of gravel right here. I mean, this is where basically where the parking area ended, right on the corner of the sugar house. So it's really hard, which is good. It's not a bad thing. So actually, I think I'm gonna just leave that. I kind of like that. It drops off from there out. So the sugar house, when I did, so I'm pretty happy with it. Actually, I'm actually real happy with it. If it can stay like that, I'm not gonna push it. All I want to do now is go in there and push that dirt pile that I have, push them farther. I have a little bit of a high spot. Let's see, it looks a little bit high right here, but it looks pretty good. So the laser level told me that the sugar house was level at like 2 foot, I think it was 2'3", and then if I moved out to where I am, it was like 3 foot something. It's about a foot difference, so that's a lot of drop. That's good. I do not want the water to be in the sugar house. The other thing is, I want to take this out here a little bit lower because we're eventually going to dig out right by the sugar house and do concrete pads for the doors. So I will have to dig out the sugar house more. So I don't want to have to fix the whole thing. I just want to have to fix right in front of the sugar house. So when I do that, I'll have to dig out right in front of the sugar house, you know, probably, I don't know, maybe 6 inches. and then I can do that and just dig out the first, 10, 15 feet or so, and I won't have to do anything with the rest of it. Then I can just put the dirt back. But it kind of looks like we have a high spot right here. I wish I could get that laser level to be more like a transit. Just give me a reading, just give me a reading by myself, If I had two people, I would try to borrow a transit or I'd probably buy a transit if I knew I could have extra person all the time. But I tried Googling laser levels and transits to try to find out which one would be better for rough grading, this is what I consider what I'm doing now is rough grading. And I don't know, they all just want to talk about how accurate they are. And I basically want one that's less accurate. So this actually worked out pretty good out here. Again, I'm past the camera, but I'm not going to keep getting out and move the camera. If I level this off, because it's actually more of a swampy mud down there, so if I push all this stuff that way and it levels that and it fills some of that in, then that will be pretty much exactly what I want. I have a high spot, so I'm just kind of getting a feel for it, just kind of pushing it off and trying to not dig in too much too fast, and just push it off and pick it up as I go. Feels like it dropped off more than I wanted right there, but I guess it looks pretty good. So I wanted to maintain the drop, but I don't necessarily want to. So the problem is if I keep dropping as I go that way, it's going to get so low that it's going to make, so we're running around the ditch down the right side and then put a pipe in and go under to the left. If I get this down, if I keep running the grade down at this same slope, then I'm going to get where I have a problem where I'm so low out there, it's going to be hard to get the water to flow because it's not going to have the drop that it needs. And I've done a lot of ditches with my backhoe, and it's something you don't think about. You dig a ditch, and digging the ditch is it's easy. The ending and making it so it has the right amount of drop for the water to continue is harder than you think. Especially the backhoe, because that last couple feet, you can't just stop. So if you're digging down and you're getting the right slope and you're down 2 feet, you can't just stop and expect the water to go out. You have to make some kind of a swale or whatever to get the water to come out. And if you don't have enough drop, it makes it hard to do. Actually, it's a little bit more time consuming to do it now. If I was going to dig a ditch with this, it would be easier to do, but it's not as easy to bury a pipe if you're going to dig it with a blade. Which is I want to do is put a pipe in, because we drive over here. That tank down there is actually sitting right on this road that goes over to the shed, which controls the release, that has a releaser in it that controls the vacuum to the taps on the other side. We have 1,000 taps over there. It's 350 feet from the sugar house over there, and I ran electric wire over there, and the line you see here is the pump line for the releaser dumps in the tank over there, and then the pump line pumps it back as a deep well pump with a float switch, and it pumps it back. And then over there, farther to my left, you probably can't see it, is the dry line, which supplies the vacuum to the releaser. So the releaser just dumps into the tank, and then there's a pump over there. We ran electric line over there. It is very cool. The only thing we have to do to it now is I want to get some sort of, eventually, which I might, probably next year, we're going to put some sort of water over there. We're going to put a spring tank or something so you can have water and a hose, and so you can clean the releaser and stuff easier. Right now we just haul a bucket of water over there, buckets of water over there and do it. One year we hauled the releaser, we unhooked it and hauled it back and cleaned it, which works, but it's a pain because it's hard to get it, you know, you have to unhook all the pipe, unhook all the plumbing, and then it's hard to get it hooked back up the way that it was. You know, nobody likes to redo things. I don't like to redo that at all. So I'm just trying to get a little feel for it out here. I think, you know, I think I'm just gonna push the piles off and call it good for now. So if I get a high spot where I am right in front of me, the water's gonna go to the right, which would be to the ditch anyway. So I'm just gonna push the pile off, try to push the piles off. Because there's a hole, you definitely can see a low spot. I don't know if I'm gonna have enough dirt to reach the low spot, but you can definitely see a low spot. About 10 feet in front of me, I've got a low spot. I'm just gonna push the piles off and, well, basically push them off, because if I don't do it and then we get rain or whatever and they freeze, then you won't be able to do anything with them. I think I gotta curl my bucket back a little bit. So we just kind of push that last one off, and definitely a hole. So this one over here, it looks like got a high spot. So I messed with my tilt, so I'm gonna reset it, try to anyway. See if I can, then I just have to adjust my bucket. You know, the big challenge is to get a little bit of mud. I mean, this is all pretty wet. Get a little bit of mud, and then you get a rock, and you know, you can't grade it very well. It's pretty wet clay. So we're gonna up the throttle just a little bit. But I would say that, you know, 4 hours into it today would give me, I'm probably up to 5 hours now. I'm starting to get the hang of it. I can see where you just have to be patient. I mean, I'm not running the throttle, just trying to get a feel for how far. Basically, I try to get the tilt set, and then you just have to get a feel for the up and down, how much up and down. Float does not work because the blade is so heavy. So you can see where I just need to track it now probably. Float doesn't work because the blade is so heavy. If you push float, you think, oh, it'll float. Well, the blade is almost 1,000 pounds, I think. So I mean, it's just so heavy that it doesn't work. It just, you push float and you'll watch the blade drop right into this stuff. So where it works on a bucket, because the bucket's not nearly that heavy, I don't think, but also the shape of the bucket, you know, the shape of the bucket makes it float. But I'm getting the hang of it. I like it. I gotta tell you, I'm very happy with it. So right now, the thing is, I just scour Marketplace. I've been looking for attachments. There's about a handful of attachments that I would like to get, and I'm just kind of scour Marketplace like I don't have any money right now, but I don't know, I might come up with the money if I find the right one within a certain distance. You know, that's the thing, finding one within a reasonable distance at the right price. So I've got to get have to get a video, but I do have a grapple. The grapple actually got dropped off. I got the grapple before I got the blade, but I went to do the video on the grapple, and that was when I had trouble with the Bobcat. The hydraulics wouldn't work. Oh, that looks pretty good. So that was, the Bobcat was gone. I had the grapple, but I didn't have the Bobcat. And then when the Bobcat came back, the blade had gotten dropped off, and then I was working down here anyway. And I didn't have any immediate use for the grapple. I was just gonna play with it and do a video. We have a bunch of brush to move. We have a big brush pile that is left over from the cabins, and I was gonna use it for that. But I mean, it's a beast. It's a Bobcat grapple. I'll just tell you a little bit about it. It's 80-inch grapple. Opens up to 51 inches. Has a dual cylinder, so you can, if you get a load that is offset, one side will close farther than the other, so you can pick up, you know, like say you get brush, but you also have a stump, so the stump will be on one side and it's still going to close, and you're not going to drop anything. It's a beast. It weighs, I think it's almost 1,200 pounds by itself. It is super, like, oh my gosh, rugged strong. I don't think I looked it over pretty good. I actually made a video, but I didn't like it because I didn't show you how to use it. So I did a walk around and I looked at it all, and then I got in the machine and went to run it, and it wouldn't do anything because the hydraulics wouldn't work. But I did not find, so I got a little bit of hole there. I did not find any piece of steel on that grapple that was less than, I don't think I found anything that was less than 3/8 of an inch. And I'm not sure if what I was looking at was 3/8 or 1/2 inch, but it has some 3/4 and inch pieces for sure. So I think we're gonna leave it like that for now. That's pretty good. We'll probably have to move that spool. Move the spool that the line is sitting on. And I think we're gonna call it pretty good. So then I'm gonna go over to my behind the cooler over there, and I got a high spot right there by that gravel pile. I'd like to work that a little bit, but I don't know if it might be too muddy to do that. Oh, this camera is going still. This camera by the cooler that I'm by, I just push record. So we'll pull up here and we'll show you the controls again. So yeah, tilt, right stick, right side goes down, push forward, left side goes down, left toggle, right is right, left is left. Yeah, and it's like you push like one little, so I can see where it might be a little challenging to get level. And then right there, if you tilt it back just a little bit, that looks pretty level. So anyway, you know, please like and subscribe. And if you subscribe and you don't want to be bothered, turn off the notifications. Help other people get traffic to their channels. Guys, I gotta tell you that every video that I watch, I hit the like button. I do not subscribe to every video that I watch, because you want to subscribe to things that you're interested in, so that the algorithm recognizes, hey, this guy's interested in skid steers. And my kids sometimes will grab my phone and watch YouTube, and I don't subscribe to stuff that they watch. But like and subscribe and help each other build channels. You know, I try to share my knowledge because other people have shared their knowledge. I try to pay it forward and show a glimpse into my life. I could make videos, you know, I could probably make a video about being a widower, father of 3 kids, and get 5 million views, but I don't want to do that. I just want to get a few more views on my videos so that people are interested in a Bobcat Dozer Blade. Like, hey, that guy just bought a Bobcat Dozer Blade. He is a school teacher, farmer that doesn't have a construction business, and he bought a Dozer Blade and on Marketplace, and hey, that's pretty cool. I have one guy that He wrote me and like, hey, you sold me on a Dozer Blade. I'm going to buy one if I can find one. And I wrote him back and I said, they're on Marketplace all the time. And they're, you know, all different prices. Finding one in your area for the right price is the hardest part. If you buy one that's a Bobcat one, he has a New Holland machine. You can buy a harness that will convert it, an adapter harness from Skid Steer Genius. You know, I'll probably end up buying a Skid Steer Genius one to convert 14 pin to 7 pin, so that way I can buy whatever attachments I want to too. But I gotta say that right there makes this thing super good, is having the 7 pin connector and making these controls come alive, that you don't have to hold down the auxiliary hydraulics and run something else to get this thing to work. That's like super. I mean, that's like super awesome. That all these buttons, I mean, you got your cylinder on each side, you got your toggle on each side, and then you got the 2 upper ones. I don't even know what they do. They must work for other things. So you basically have 6 buttons on a side. So yeah, you know, but like and subscribe and just help other people get their word out, because maybe you're not interested in a 6-way Dozer Blade. Maybe you're only interested in the Bobcat. Maybe you're not interested in anything that I do at all. But if you like and you comment and it draws traffic to my channel, maybe one of your friends or family or somebody like that's going to see my video and be like, hey, that's a cool video, I'm going to watch that. Yeah, I'm going to go buy. There is a Bobcat Blade for sale down the street, I'm going to go buy that. So that's just kind of like my little extra thing. I've been trying to, like, I want to get more subscribers. I don't care about being monetized or anything like that. I just want to get the word out. Be like, hey, do I make decent? I think I make fairly decent content. Right now I have 3 cameras running. I'm using a voiceover microphone. I learned about these cameras and the microphone and the GPS controller. They're all DJI products, but I learned about them on YouTube. You know, maybe you're interested in them. You know, things like that. Just help share the knowledge, because you can learn a lot of things from YouTube. You can learn how to do things, how to build things, how to make things, how to operate things. But you can also learn, you know, reviews. Is it a good product? Is it a bad product? Can learn, you know, I think that's just the best part about it, is that you can learn. And there is some things that are entertaining, right? I use YouTube more for entertaining than anything. Lately, I've been watching YouTube videos on my big screen TV. That's kind of been my thing lately. I haven't watched TV shows in a while. Like, I'm watching college basketball, but I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos on my big screen TV with my iPad, so that I do my comment on my iPad. And I usually will leave a comment, hey, great video, thanks for sharing. It takes 2 seconds, right? So anyway, that's my little rant about that. Like and subscribe and stay tuned for more from Triple D Farms, Triple D Maple, and Triple D Cabins. Thanks for watching and have a great day.